You don't think that's how Steve Rogers comes back? Just
It's a werewolf.
That's the extra twist, is like, not only did he show up in Endgame as an old man, but oh, by the way, I'm a lycanthrope. The woman I wouldn't tell you that I married, she was a werewolf.
I like your old-timey cat voice. He just got done panning for gold.
I never workshopped it.
Come on and visit for any occasion. Don't keep patting down waiting. Comics and conversation. Keep the conversation moving along. Keep reading comics, keep your local store strong. If it's hard, then it's a job for the challengers. Comics and conversation, y'all.
From Challengers Comics and Conversation in Chicago, this is Contest of Challengers, a comics industry business podcast with Patrick Brower and W. Dale Bush.
No, but it's just a game changer for me. It is a life-changing product that you discovered. You get all the credit for pointing out to me that
I affected your life for the better for a change.
Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar exists,
Yeah.
and you even tracked it down, and now it is plentiful. And guess what? There's also a case at the store.
Oh, that's cool.
With a rule,
That only you can have it?
only I can have it.
Yeah, this isn't something that like Kent can leave her into, or that
No.
Andrew can be like, well, let me give one a try.
Yeah, I mean, Andrew will probably try to get one tomorrow.
Uh-huh. And you
And a
will.
lot of times he just goes in the back and comes back with a Diet Dr. Pepper.
I'd say
Fine, still have that.
I'd say you'd slap it out of his hands, but you'll probably yank it out because you're going to want to consume that.
Yeah, I
Once
don't
it hits the
want to
ground,
waste
it's like,
it.
no, it's
Yeah,
shaken
no,
up.
he does.
Now
And a restocked Diet Coke.
It's more valuable than he is.
Yeah. Look, Andrew's been very helpful at this point. It's been, as we said, over seven months.
Yeah.
He is a full member of the team.
Sure.
He cannot have any of my
Yeah.
Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar.
I would say, conversely to your list of his qualities, you want Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar every single day. You do not want Andrew every single day.
Just saying.
Andrew needs breaks. You got to have breaks between days of Andrew. Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar, multiple times a day.
Multiple times a day. Yeah, that'll definitely go on the Thursday task list. Do not have any. I will count.
Good. You
I
have
will
to.
count, Kent.
You have to. Yeah.
And I wanted to talk on the podcast about what he's doing wrong, but I don't think it's fair
No.
to do that without talking to him first.
Sure.
Oh, we'll still talk about it on the podcast.
Okay.
But after he's got to shape up.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to be a broken record, but really keeping... Are we recording?
Yeah?
Oh, I didn't know.
Well, that'll get edited.
Yeah, cut that part out.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I don't know all the time when we're
Sure. I mean, I
recording.
switched into my record voice. You couldn't tell?
I don't know. I mean, we're just sitting here.
That's true.
Yeah, sometimes I need more of a warning. Like, sometimes when you start a podcast, it's very like, Dal, listen. And it's like, okay, well, I know that we're recording now. But sometimes it's just the natural flow of the conversation.
Sure.
I don't know when you hit the button.
And honestly, I enjoy some of them that start just in mid-sentence.
Because sometimes when you hitting the button is the same motion of you tapping something on your phone to find out that, like, a delivery has been delayed.
Sure.
Or
yeah,
Bob has sent you a message.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
can't tell. We don't count down or anything.
No, we don't. And again, I do like the...
Well, I'm sorry to ruin it.
You didn't. I'm just going to edit that out. We're keeping all this.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry to have ruined the flow of it.
That's fine. I mean, I was going to, at some point during the podcast, mention Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar because it is such a game changer, and it is a thing that will affect my work.
Is that when you started recording when we were talking about Dr.
Yes.
Pepper?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what it was.
Okay.
Yep.
Anyway.
So do you want me to leave in the part about taking breaks between Andrew?
I'm fine with that. I'm okay with that part.
So it'll be beeped out, and patrons can tell when there's edits because a normal episode is called... Oh, I need my notebook. Contest of Challengers.
Another cue that went unheeded by me.
True.
Like,
Yeah, I didn't have the notebook
you
out.
didn't have the notebook out.
Contest of Challengers number 529, unedited audio.
Uh-huh. And this has been edited.
This will be raw audio. Still raw,
Sure.
just something taken out.
Sure.
Or maybe beeped. I don't know how we'll do it.
I guess it'll be a mystery. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the speculation.
So there's a lot. We talked about this last week, but just to explain a little bit about what we're beeping, there's a lot of things behind the scenes that we've been working on.
Yeah.
And it'll be a while.
Yeah.
It'll be a while.
I wish it were faster, but it's going to be a while.
Yeah. And none of it's fun.
No.
It's all just business. It's all business.
Yeah,
And-
sometimes in the lifespan of any business, you get to a point where exhausting things just happen. Just things that conversations you don't want to have and people you don't want to be dealing with and stuff that you wish had a faster resolution that it just doesn't. And it just takes a while and you just suffer through it. You suffer through an endless array of phone calls and emails and requests for more information and more documentation and more emails that then loop in more people that require more phone calls. And it's just, I don't even want to say there's light at the end of the tunnel. You know where the tunnel is, and you know where the end is. You just don't know how far you are from the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be real fast. Like, there's a version of this where it's like, by the end of next week, this is all wrapped up. And then there's another version where it's like, it could be December and we're still working on it.
But there's so much that's out of our hands.
Actually, not December, probably
And,
October.
Yeah, definitely.
October feels like the end of it one way or another.
Definitely, yeah. And, we're also braced for the train to start going backwards.
Yeah, who knows?
And it's dealing with other people and waiting for other things and other business professionals. And too many times in my professional career, I've gone to speak with someone who I've spoken with before, only to find out their email address is bad and I don't have the new one. And oftentimes I think, you're an industry professional. I should be able to find it with a quick internet search.
Yeah.
Especially if, let's say, you are someone who takes commissions.
Right.
If you're selling a product and you want people to buy that product from you, people need to be able to contact you.
Yeah.
And it's one thing if it's like, all right, well, let me go to your Facebook page, okay, that has the wrong email address still. Let me go to your Instagram or Twitter or whatever. And then finally through a place like, well, I would never have considered this as an option for a business email, but there. And then they say, oh, hey, thanks. Yeah, here's my new email. It's like, of course that's your new email.
Yes.
But yeah, it is frustrating, and it's like knowing you have really great comics for people to buy, they just don't come in the store.
Sure.
But you need them to come in to sell those comics.
Yes.
That is my metaphor. Analogy? Analogy. It's not a metaphor. A metaphor would be... No, it's a metaphor.
Sure.
For what we're doing. Yeah.
Sure.
A bad one, but a metaphor. Yeah. So, I mean, there's things that we're planning on doing, and there's a lot we're planning on doing, but a lot of it's structural, a lot of it's infrastructural. Is that a word? I'm making it one.
It is now.
Write that down. How do you think you spell that?
Structural. Infra, INFRA, and then structural. STRUCTURAL.
Wait, hold on. STRUCTURAL. Okay. The thing is, I knew how to spell it. I just wanted you to talk.
Sure.
So it wouldn't be silence while I'm writing.
Scribble, scribble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
So that was just a fill. But then you're actually spelling it, made me pause and be like, wait, am I spelling it right?
Yes, I am spelling it right.
Because that will be the episode title.
Figured.
I feel it.
Figured.
I know it. It's just things.
Yeah.
It's just things. Like, it's rare that we get to read comics ahead of time and say, oh my god, The Good Asian is so good. Or, oh my god, Six Sidekick is Tricky is so good.
Hey, you know what I read today?
What's that?
Time After Time, #1.
No, you didn't.
I did?
I bet you $100 you didn't.
Why not? Time Before Time?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, okay. No, I'm going to call it Time After Time probably forever because that's a more famous movie.
Well, and a Cyndi Lauper song. But that's why it's different. It's Time Before Time.
No, I'm probably going to call it Time After Time forever. So I read Declan Shalvey's new book, Time After Time, #1.
No, you didn't.
And I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah. The art's not my favorite.
No, but it's workable.
Yeah, it's fine. It communicates the story. I was never confused about what was going on. And
I think the character designs are different enough that you're never worried, like never saying like, who is that?
Yeah, and it's a small enough cast, at least in the first issue.
Yeah.
That you only got to remember like 2 or 3 people. It's fine.
I look at that artist whose name I can't remember as a less cartoony Rob Guillory.
Sure, or it reminds me of what's his name, McMahon?
Vincent Kennedy?
No, there's an artist whose last name is McMahon, and I can't remember what it is now.
Oh, I was also going to say like
It's kind of bugged me now.
a looser, less refined Gabe Hernandez Walta.
Oh, I can see that a little bit. Mike McMahon, I think?
Oh, you're going British.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
I'm going to look up Mike McMahon stuff real
Sure.
quick to see if
I'm sure you could find a Judge Dredd thing or something. Yeah, I can see that.
There's also a football player named Mike McMahon.
What about a different football player from Chicago?
Maybe, who was in the news recently because he decided he never liked working on the Chicago Bears.
That's fine. Most people don't.
An insult to injury.
You think Andy Dalton's going to?
The favorite team he ever played on? The Green Bay Packers. The team he ended his career on. Anyway, yeah, I enjoyed
Time Before Time.
Time, Space, Time, number one before. Because it was, the description I remember in the solicit was like Looper meets Saga, and like I can definitely see that for like issue 2 forward. I only read issue 1.
Okay.
But the setup is very Looper. It's incredibly like there's a crime syndicate. They're sending people back in time for reasons.
Wait, what was the time travel movie where you go in the box in the garage and you...
Primer.
Okay. I just confused Primer and Looper.
No. Looper was the Bruce Willis one. Like where
with Robin in it.
Yeah, in that movie they were basically like you couldn't kill people in the future because forensics was too good. So crime syndicates would send people and their assassins to like the crime syndicates of the future would send people back to the past, which was essentially kind of the present of the movie.
Yeah.
Where they would then execute the people that were sent to them and then destroy the bodies. So that was kind of the time travel element was all that. And then eventually like you would be assassinating yourself, and that's how you'd know you lost your job, was because they were closing off all the loose ends. So at some point in the future, the crime syndicate, when you caught up to them, would stick you in a time machine, send you back, and have you execute yourself.
Why would you do that, though?
You wouldn't know. When they send people back in the past, they have hoods on. So someone shows up in a place, you immediately shoot them. On their body is like the money, the money that
I remember. I remember.
Eventually, you take the money out, and if it's gold bars, congratulations, you just killed yourself in the future. But anyway, so like this has that sort of feel to it, where it's people looking for an escape and all that sort of stuff. But it's got additional twists on it, and it's got a lot of kind of unique things about people in shitty circumstances looking for ways out, and the specifics of kind of how all the time travel is working, and kind of how the characters that we're interacting with are kind of in the middle point of all of this, where it's not just like they're coordinating with the future and the past. I found it really interesting. Just like as a thought experiment, it's a really good premise, and then the characters in it are pretty agreeable.
So here's the thing that happens a lot in comics, or I guess in any media, and I'm sure I've been guilty of it in the past, but I don't do it anymore. And it's casually mentioning famous people or professionals as a humble brag.
Oh, like people casually?
Yeah. Well, for example, I had posted in the Comics Pro board just, hey, I think The Good Asian and Six Sidekicks are exceptional books, and we're going to push them really hard, and I really enjoyed Time Before Time. And a retailer said, oh yeah, Declan sent me all 4 issues of that. Real good.
Sure.
Yeah, he did, but he sent it...
It wasn't to you personally as a good friend to look over his new work. It was him promotionally sending them to retailers.
I mean, it may have been because he sent the first issue. Image had offered the other 3. And Declan had sent me the 4th one. I don't claim to be friends with him.
Sure.
I'm friendly with him.
Sure.
Apparently he was at the store once and I don't remember it. Do you remember it?
I don't.
He never signed the wall.
Yeah.
It was back when he was doing Terminator or something.
Okay, sure.
And he had sent that, basically the email out to all the retailers. And I think it's because it's Image's mailing list, it autofills with the name on it, so it seems more personal.
Sure.
But he did actually throw a paragraph in about having been at the store at, like, I don't know, 2009 or something.
Neat.
Like the Windy City Comic-Con days or something like that.
Wow, sure.
Yeah, exactly like that.
Sure.
So I read it and then responded saying, like, if people do that and I read the book and love it, I will respond saying, thank you so much for sending the book.
Sure.
I did that with The Good Asian and Pornsack Pichtoto, and he just sent a quick sentence back, hey, thanks so much for your support.
Yeah.
Great, fine. He's not looking for a new best friend. I just wanted him to realize that I appreciated getting to read the books.
Sure.
But Declan and I had a little back and forth, and then I offhandedly said that, like with Homesick Pilots, I kind of hate reading the first 3 in advance because then I got to wait until the books come out to catch up. So then he sent me number 4.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, oh, thank you. And now I'm even going to be even further, waiting even longer. So, yeah, he did that. But it's like, yeah, okay, a lot of people know him. Mm-hmm. And the way people will just casually drop the first name of a creator, it's like, I don't even know who you're talking about. Like, can you give me a last name to make it work?
I mean, luckily Declan's pretty unusual as a first name for North American comics.
Exactly. Or, in fact, Irish comics.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I'm thinking about North American comics as North American publishers.
You know, and this is a...
Like, if you go to the Irish small press, there's probably 1,800 Declans.
Oh, for sure.
But, like, at Image, pretty much just the one.
Yeah. Speaking of UK comics, a thing that Rich Johnston occasionally does, and especially during the pandemic, he'll take a bicycle tour of shops when they reopen. And the comic shop just got to reopen last week or this week.
Okay.
So, you know, he hopped on their equivalent of a divvy bike, rode up the Thames, and went to Orbital, which is now O Space.
Interesting. I wonder why they changed.
Forbidden, because it's more like a half gallery.
Oh, okay.
Like a lot of stuff on the walls.
Sure, but I mean, Orbital kind of... All right, whatever.
Yeah, and then Forbidden Planet and... I think Gosh was the last one. And I really enjoy the tours of other shops.
Sure.
You know, the fact that it's England is a bonus for me, but it would be just as fun to watch, you know, if it was Memphis or something.
Sure.
And he did that around Christmas, so it was like riding in the snow, and they have decorations up and stuff for the different point of their... They've had 4 lockdowns. But yeah, it was interesting to see. And he was looking for Bad Idea books, but the one store that's supposed to have them didn't, and that was it. But I did enjoy that kind of a thing, just as you're talking about the UK.
Yeah.
But my point of talking about how, like, we love to sit and talk up new books.
Yeah.
Because that's a fun part of our job.
Sure.
Everything we've been doing the last couple weeks is the absolute other end of the spectrum, the no fun part of the job.
Yeah, like, basically, getting to talk about comics and stuff is running a shop. Everything we've been doing is running a business. And those are 2 different things. Running a shop is really fun. That's, you know, making displays and shelving product and getting to talk to fans and, you know, giving people their books and all that sort of stuff.
Like fans of us?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, sure. Okay.
But running a business, I mean, that's all, you don't do that on the sales floor. You do that through emails and phone calls and forms and all that sort of stuff. Like, that's not fun. That is the most unfun part of the job, but it is at times equally as important as running the shop. Not always, but sometimes.
And we made so many behind-the-scenes changes because of the pandemic, as I'm sure everybody has, that, like, most of this stuff is done outside of the store. And I wonder when we eventually shift back to normal hours, if ever.
Yeah, honestly, who knows? I'm not certain it will.
It's like, oh, do I want to do this on my personal time now that I'm working more?
Yeah, right.
But I don't know.
We'll see.
It's easier to do it at home. It's more comfortable at home. But it's basically, I need to develop entirely new systems for everything we do.
Sure.
This year, not having blue in the equation as far as expenses made things so much easier than it had been.
Yeah.
Then it's like, oh, you got 3 months of that. Forget it. It's over.
Right.
It's like, oh, no. Yeah, and it's things we need to do, but...
Doesn't make it any easier.
No, it sure doesn't. I had told you right before we started recording, there was a retailer who was getting yelled at for basically being a good person and not doing shady things.
Yep.
And one of a fellow retailer in Ireland who they're still closed for lockdown, had said that people can't come into the store, but they don't miss it. And I'm like, I totally get that, because I had so many experiences today where it's like, I'm trying so hard not to be a jerk.
Yeah.
And all I want to do is be a jerk. Like, if we were to put out a new thing of Marvel Legends, and somebody comes up with all of them in their hands, it's like, no.
Really?
What's that?
Really? Like, you would say no?
Like, if they, trying to buy the full case that just went on the shelf? Yeah.
I mean, it's a Build-A-Figure. I don't know.
I'm not saying one of each. I'm saying everything.
Oh, okay. Like, that's the thing. If they wanted a set...
Yeah, but I mean...
But if they wanted multiple sets? No.
Sure.
No.
Exactly. Or like, oh, I just want... Like, I'm buying all the Wolverines.
Yeah, that would feel not great.
Right. And I don't like it when it's people that I don't know.
Sure.
Like, I want our customers to have first shot at this. We got new G.I. Joe figures in today.
Oh, yeah? Who was in the case?
So I'll tell my story.
Okay.
And I did go back, once I saw who was in it, I went back and searched one of the figures and found the email of a person who said, hey, can you save me those figures?
Oh, sure, okay.
So I put them aside for Matt Baer.
Okay, cool. Did you tell Matt Baer that we have them?
No, he'll get them Wednesday. It's fine.
Okay, I hope he still wants them on Wednesday.
Oh, all right, fine.
I just mean that he might have found them someplace else.
Sure.
Right now, you know?
Sure. So somebody calls who's never been to the store before, asking a bunch of G.I. Joe questions. Like, do you have old G.I. Joe comics? No. What do you have? Like, not old ones. A Real American Hero just came out today. All right, do you have any figures? No. I mean, there's new ones coming out. We'll get those. Who are you going to get? The next wave. Well, who's in it? I don't know. It just says wave whatever.
Right.
Well, can you find out? Because I want to know what to pre-order. Well, let me save the trouble. You can't pre-order any. We locked orders in a while ago. Just first come, first serve. They're sitting on the shelf, and I will not let this person know what they are. I mean, I know it's wrong, but the conversation was not fun on my end. And they're like, well, I'm just going to come in anyway. I'm like, all right, great. They never did.
No.
If they did, they didn't buy the G.I. Joe figures.
Okay.
Which include 3 figures.
Okay.
Any guesses?
No.
Any guesses?
Crypt Keeper.
Yes.
Okay. Crypt Keeper.
Mm-hmm.
The Michelin Man. And... Oh, God. Who... Oh, what is that G.I. Joe character's name?
Roadblock.
No, that's not it.
Megatron.
Elliot Gould. That's my 3 guesses.
Okay.
Crypt Keeper, Michelin Man, Elliot Gould.
There was a line...
Elliot Gould was obviously his code name, because they were all it's all code names.
There was a line in Supernatural a few episodes ago, and I can't remember what the actual word was, but it was close enough to Megatron that Sam had said...
Metatron, probably.
Said, the Transformer? No, there's no way. The Transformer? No, Metatron, not Megatron. Mm-hmm. And I thought, you'd have smiled at that. You're smiling at it now.
Yeah, it's cute. Who are the 3 figures in your G.I. Joe case, Patrick?
You didn't get my Cobra Commander impression?
Oh, is that who that was? I thought it was Starscream. That's a joke about the voice actor who did both of them. Cobra
John
Commander.
Kassir?
No. Chris Latta, I want to say maybe?
John Kassir was a Crypt Keeper.
Okay, yeah. I think it's a different voice
What
actor.
would you use to make a fire?
A firefly? A barbecue? I'm trying to name G.I. Joe characters. I just named 2 of them. Flint?
Yay!
Lady J? Was that one maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't have to give you a clue for that one.
No, I vaguely recall there being reviews of these figures a while ago.
Yeah, just
because
those...
that's when we get stuff is who knows?
Yeah, just those 3.
Okay. I think it's pretty typical for the classified cases because it's 8 figures. So it's usually 3, 2, and 2.
So the Transformers figures we got in today. Case of 3 figures. 2 of the one you didn't want. And 1 you did, so we only have 2 of a
Which
thing.
is fine. I mean, Scourge, so it's Scourge and Hot Rod.
Yeah.
Hot Rod is by far the more popular figure.
Really? You didn't buy him?
I already had him. I bought him at Target like 3 months ago. Because again, that's when we get things.
But it was very annoying to me because I don't understand the waves.
Sure.
Like I don't know what the different levels of Transformer figures are called.
Okay, I can help you with that if you want.
Well, the thing is, this classification was the same as something we have on the shelf, but it wasn't.
Yeah. So these figures in particular are part of a sub-brand called Studio Series. Mm-hmm. And Studio Series has existed for a few years, and its attempt was to do all of the characters from the live-action Transformers movies in a specific scale. These are characters that Hasbro had already produced a number of times when the movies would come out, but they didn't all line up together. They didn't all look right. They would be produced in different ways with different focuses. So the idea of redoing all of them so that if you got all of the robot modes together, they'd all look right was kind of the mandate. The thing is, they've been doing the studio series for a few years, and they basically run out of live-action movie characters. So what they decided to do is expand it to include non-live-action movie characters, which includes the Transformers 1986 animated movie.
Okay, because it still said the movie on it. I'm like, wait a minute.
It does. So that's what they're doing. So the studio series now is both. So it'll, like, an upcoming studio series wave will include some characters from the animated movie and some characters from the live-action Bumblebee movie. So the first wave of the studio series, 86, though, is what they're calling it, is just the Transformers 86 characters. And they do those at 3 different size classes. Deluxe, which are the smaller boxes, and that's for smaller figures that don't have as many accessories or as much engineering involved in them.
That sounds like the opposite of the word deluxe.
Well, the size up from that is called Voyager, which is what we got in today.
Yeah.
That's Hot Rod and Scourge. Those are characters that are maybe a little bigger than the deluxe figures, but feature a lot more engineering. Hot Rod in particular is roughly the same size as the Blur, Cup, and Jazz figures that came out at the smaller and cheaper deluxe price point.
Former ECW wrestler Jazz just retired this week.
But Hot Rod includes way more engineering. There's way more parts inside of him. So even though he's a figure that's maybe smaller than a Voyager price point would normally be, he's way more complicated. And he also comes with a bunch of accessories that Voyagers wouldn't normally come with, but you're paying for it, so here's a bunch of extra stuff. The size up from there is called Leader, and the ones they've done for that so far, I think, are just Grimlock for the Studio Series 86, because Grimlock is a gigantic character. So there you go. Those are the 3 size classes and their price points.
Well, can you guess what the Voyager has different aesthetically, package-wise, than the other ones?
Yeah, it's got more of a... I think they all have the same diorama. Or a diorama.
I don't know what that means.
But there's a little stand, a little cardboard backdrop.
These are all rectangular boxes.
Sure.
The other ones all have that angled cutout.
Oh, do they? Okay.
Yeah. We have other things in the system called the same as these, but at a different price point.
Yeah, that's the thing. We probably have in the system the Studio Series 86 Deluxe. These are the Studio Series 86 Voyager.
It's annoying either way.
I'm sure.
So normally I would just... Because the markups of the Transformers are vastly different than our other action figures.
Okay.
Like, you price them at significantly lower of a markup.
Maybe.
So I normally have to go on the shelf and find, like, what packaging matches this?
Sure.
So today, nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing we have.
Yeah. You just make up a price then.
I did.
Great.
I definitely did.
Great.
But, I mean, and I don't know it so much anymore, but in the past, especially if it was something you'd already gotten somewhere else, you do a lower markup to move it.
Yeah, I mean, in general, I don't price the Transformers figures maybe as high up as we would a Marvel Legends thing because there's just less demand for them. And frequently we're getting them so late that it's like, I don't know if there's an audience for these anymore because they've been out at Target for 3 months.
But the fun part of G.I. Joe is they're the same cost as Marvel Legends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's just 6-inch figures.
Yeah.
With the same paints and parts counts and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. So same price point.
Neat.
And Pops.
Oh, great.
A bunch of Marvel Zombies, some more Deadpools.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every once in a while it's like, the Pop shelf is thinning out. Look at the new release wall. Plenty up there.
Yeah.
Speaking of new release wall, you know what I can't believe that no one else has bought?
What's that?
The Alex Ross Marvel poster book.
So crazy.
For $25, it is a full figure drawing of all the covers he did for that back in October.
Yeah, it's
and
like
beyond.
It's like 30-something 11 by 17 painted prints.
Yeah, and on the actual comic that you bought for $4 or more, you got Head and Shoulders.
Yeah.
This is the full figure, and on the back of each one, a paragraph about what the character means to him.
Yeah, and then on top of that, it comes with a fold-out poster of everything together, just a smaller version of what he did for the Marvel offices.
Yeah, 16 by 42.
Yeah, it's insane. And it's especially crazy because this is what everyone was asking us about when the cover started coming out. Are they going to do posters?
Yeah, and they
it's
all...
like, they're not, but they did these prints, and no one seems to want them.
It's a glue binding, so you could take out each individual page and frame it if you wanted to.
Yeah, they're meant to be taken out.
And then, like, I already ordered a frame for the giant fold-out print because that's what I want. I wanted them to do a vinyl poster.
Yeah.
This is that, just slightly smaller. Yeah, literally, right there.
Mm-hmm.
Right there in the recording studio where it's going to go.
Perfect.
Right? What color frame would you have gotten for it? Because it's a widescreen with a white there's a lot of white space above and below.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to do white.
No, I was saying it's a white.
But I thought of a white
border.
possible frame.
No.
But what color would you have gotten?
Black.
Like a blue.
That's fine.
Yeah. I know that, sometimes it's not, we don't want to say the B word around you. Don't want to set you off.
It's fine.
But yeah, I think that's a great book, and it's only $25.
Yeah, I certainly feel like they'll eventually sell, but it's a little surprising to me that the week of people saw it and we're not that impressed.
It's just that it's going to have to move to the art section.
It's fine.
Where it doesn't stand out as much.
Well, I can definitely see, as long as we both remember, it being a thing where, when someone comes in and they're like, my dad likes superhero stuff, but I don't know what to get him, and it can just be like this. Get him this. He doesn't read comics. He wants something cool. Here are paintings of all of his favorite characters. It's just one thing. He doesn't have to read a story or anything. Here you go.
Somebody was buying 2 of the Michael Cho two-tone covers.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm like, oh, did you see that we had this one and this one? I'm on a budget.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. Just fair. So I just wanted to point out. It's totally fine. Totally fine. Hey, we sold a ton more of today, which may now make this property the best selling in its category that I'll discuss momentarily. That's a really bad intro.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you could be describing.
If there was a way to do this where I could lead up to the word, then it would just flash to the screen with blood on it.
No idea.
Invincible.
Okay, sure, yeah. I mean, we had somebody come in on Wednesday, and they had already bought the first 7.
Same. Not the same guy. Same thing.
I'll just buy the next
stack.
19? 18 or 19 volumes?
Yeah.
There you go.
So, I mean, I feel like Invincible is edging to the top of the list of move your television properties to get people to buy the book.
For now, sure. It's all cyclical, though. I mean,
sure.
There will be another one in a few months. But here's the twist, and I've mentioned this before, I think.
But if you look at the number of comic properties on Netflix right now...
No, but I mean, it'll be Loki, or it'll be Hawkeye. It's going to be other stuff. But here's the twist. We can keep ordering Invincible. So every week when a new episode drops, you can come into Challengers or any comic shop and probably get the compendiums, the hardcovers, single volumes, whatever you want. If we're out of it, we're going to have it back in just a few days, and we're going to order a ton. Like, Falcon and Winter Soldier, I can't get you anything. That shit won't come back in stock until June.
Wait, you mean Ed Brubaker's Winter Soldier?
Yeah. Completely out of print. That volume in particular, back in June. The Sam Wilson Captain America stuff, the first volume, I don't know, May or June, something. Again, after the series is over, Loki, there's nothing really right now. There's a complete collection of, I want to say, the Al Ewing stuff.
Yeah.
They're reprinting in advance of the Loki series, which we ordered a bunch. Don't have any confidence it's going to be available long term, and we can only order so many up front. I can't stock the whole series. I don't have that kind of money or that kind of space to store stuff. I need to be able to reorder, and Marvel's basically said they're not interested in doing that. So yeah, when Loki hits, or Hawkeye hits, or whatever, we're going to be in that exact same boat, where people are going to come in week 2 and be like, oh, I wanted to read more about this character, or this storyline. And I'm going to have to say, it's sold out. I'm sorry. I can't get it from anywhere. Nobody has it. The publisher has to reprint it, and it's going to take them 2 to 3 months. I mean, the good news, sort of, is that when we've had to do that for all the WandaVision stuff, those actually started to roll back in this week, and we called people who had reserved copies, and to a person, they were all excited to hear about it.
Yeah.
I was expecting most of them to be like, oh, I don't care anymore, or completely forget why they even asked for it. But not only did people respond well on the phone, they came in that day to get it. They were like, great, I'll be right in. But yeah, the better option is to have copies available at the distribution level so that when stores sell out, they can restock quickly so they can meet the ongoing current high demand. Instead of whatever percentage of that will care in a month.
Dal, it's not their fault. They didn't know this was going to be a TV series. It came out of nowhere.
I will never forget the fact that Marvel went to the trouble of printing James Robinson's Scarlet Witch into one volume that released a week or so before the series started, the TV show started, and then immediately sold out of it for the duration of the TV show. It's like, you went to the trouble of compiling this material in a way that would be attractive to people who watch the TV show, and then you just didn't print any? Well, what is the point?
To be fair, Dal, they have years of releasing a deluge of non-collected things, like, oh, here's a greatest hits of Hydro Man because he might be in a Spider-Man movie sometime.
Here's a Tombstone graphic novel because Tombstone's the 7th most popular villain in the video game.
And none of that stuff sells.
And honestly,
So why would they think any different for this?
And honestly, like, I know you're joking, but honestly, it's kind of a fair point because Marvel's not really done TV shows like this before. They've had shows on, ABC Family or Freeform or whatever the hell it's called.
Netflix?
Marvel? I mean,
Daredevil?
But that's the thing. Like, they had those shows for sure, but they've never had Marvel Studio stuff. And Marvel Studio stuff is a completely different animal. The joke is Marvel Studios films don't move graphic novels. But, like, it being a TV show and it being a Marvel Studios project, the combination of that
Lightning in a bottle.
sells graphic novels.
Yeah.
Like, it sells them in the same way it does for, like, Umbrella Academy and Old Guard and whatever else. Like, that combination is kind of unheard of because, yeah, they've done a ton of stupid tie-in graphic novels for every Marvel Studios movie, like, every Netflix TV show, how much S.H.I.E.L.D. crap did they make for ABC's S.H.I.E.L.D. show? And no one cared.
Yeah,
no one was interested.
They even did that single issue series featuring the first Marvel work of Daniel Warren Johnson.
Yeah, but no one cared. Like, WandaVision hits, and suddenly it's like, okay, people want to read the Scarlet Witch graphic novels. They want to read the Tom King Vision graphic novel. They want to read stories of Wanda and Vision being married. They want to read House of M. And it's like, if you're used to no one caring and then suddenly everyone cares, like...
The House of M thing, I think, is the weirdest stretch because there really isn't a parallel from that show.
So I can sort of see it because there is a sense of, like, Wanda in her trauma makes a change and then regrets it. Like, the problem with WandaVision as a TV show is that it's picking and choosing a lot of different tiny things to make a much bigger thing.
Yeah.
So there isn't one big story that you can point to and go, oh, this is like WandaVision. I know that there are people who, probably because they're expecting a completely different twist at the end of WandaVision, were talking up Avengers Standoff.
Really?
Because of Pleasant Hill. They thought that was going to be what it was.
Okay.
I remember, like, there was a lot of chatter from fans around, like, episode 3 or 4 that all of, like, the people who lived in that community were all going to be, like, Clea and the Melter and, like, name any character that had never appeared in a movie or TV show.
Yeah, I remember there was a strong rumor that I forget her name, Anya.
Emma Caulfield.
Emma Caulfield's character was Clea.
Yeah. And then, of course, she wasn't. No one was.
Right.
They weren't anybody but people who lived in this town. But because of, like, the rumor of that, people are like, wait, there was a comic about villains secretly living in a small town. Like, that sounds like what I want to read. So we didn't really see much traffic in that, but there were definitely fans that were trying to boost Avengers Standoff as a potential tie-in to what was going on.
Was it Standoff or was it No Way Home that featured the first appearance of the Immortal Hulk?
No Way Home.
Okay.
Or No Surrender? No Surrender.
No Surrender? Okay.
Yeah, No Surrender was the first one. That was the Immortal Hulk one.
Gotcha.
No Way Home was setting up all of the, like, Zeus and the Greek pantheon that would show up in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, right. So No Way Home is not even connected to Standoff.
No.
Yeah, never mind.
I mean, neither one was.
Never mind. I thought maybe they would think that the Hulk was going to be part of Vision and Scarlet Witch.
No. But that said, like, I could maybe it is fair to say that Marvel wasn't anticipating this being such a huge thing. But at the same time, it's like, what is the excuse for Captain America then? Like, there's only like 4 or 5 Captain America volumes that are relevant to Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
And then they still didn't print them.
But they put out a replica of 354, the first U.S. agent. Yeah. That counts, a replica edition.
For sure. And like
I'm sorry, a facsimile edition.
And my hope is that, Marvel learns its lesson and realizes how much money they're losing out on by not printing enough of this stuff when there's the most demand. So hopefully, when Loki comes out, when Hawkeye comes out, we don't see the same sort of, playing catch up. That they actually take the couple 3 things that people are going to be looking for. And that's the joke of it. Like, it's not like you're doing an X-Men movie and you can't figure out what of 800 X-Men graphic novels people are going to want to buy. Like, Winter Soldier, The Winter Soldier. Yeah. Sam Wilson, Captain America, Volume 1. And this is the one that blows my mind the most. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier graphic novel you just published.
Just came out, yeah.
Those are the ones that people are going to want to buy, and those are the ones that stores are going to want to sell. Like, I don't need you to print a ton more copies of, like, the Capwolf stuff. I don't think that's going to be hyper relevant to what's going on. A spoiler, I haven't seen episodes 5 and 6, so I don't know. But yeah, it doesn't seem that difficult to predict.
They can't.
These
Can't do
particular
Catwolf
values.
with John Walker. I forbid it.
You don't think that's how Steve Rogers comes back? Just that's
It's a werewolf.
That's the extra twist. Is like not only did he show up in Endgame as an old man, but oh, by the way, I'm a lycanthrope. I forgot to tell you about the time the woman I wouldn't tell you that I married. She was a werewolf.
I like your old timey cat voice. He just got done panning for gold.
I never workshopped it. I think it's funny that the idea of like 1940s era Cap, even though he lived in the present, like as soon as he went back in time, he's like, nope, this is what I talk like as an old man now.
It's like people that when they go back to this, if they're from the South, they go back to the South, their twang kicks back in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like that. When does the Loki show start?
I don't remember. I think it's like May or June. I can look it up if you want.
Well, it's because I was discussing with Gina today, and you'd previously said that it was 2 weeks after Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I think they rescheduled it.
Okay, so it's now June, so it's later.
Yeah, I think it's Loki TV show, Loki television series. Thanks, Google. First episode, June 11th, 2021.
Yeah, okay. So there's well over a month.
Yeah, so like we got 2 more episodes. So next week
is the last one.
And that's the what day is it today? The 16th, so 23rd.
Yeah.
And then they'll do something on the 30th where it's the Marvel Gallery or whatever.
Yeah, and then you get like a full
and
month,
then all
month and
of
a half.
May into June. So
nothing.
I don't know what they'll put in there. I wonder if they'll have something else. I mean, I feel like we would have heard about it by now, and I can't imagine beyond like the What If animated series. I can't imagine what it would be. So maybe
what
it's just
if it
nothing.
would be?
Maybe just nothing. There could be some other. Let me check something, because it might be a different television show that they are going to be airing. In the meantime, oh yeah, okay, May 4th, first episode of the Disney Plus original animated series Star Wars: The Bad Batch.
That doesn't count.
So they're probably just going to run that on Fridays until
6
June,
weeks or
whatever,
so.
and then here's the other thing.
Well, nothing for me to watch on Fridays then.
Like I think on Disney Plus, I think their intention, at least going forward, is Fridays are new Star Wars or Marvel things. So they will be rotating those around until they have enough content to start doing multiple nights or doing multiple things on a
I don't
night.
like that Friday is the release date for all that kind of stuff.
I'm sorry. Sorry for you.
Well, we were talking about Marvel constantly being out of stock of stuff,
We were.
and what we're finding out pandemic-wise is that it's much harder to get a lot of stuff, mainly manga, mainly Viz,
Yeah.
but, we have all these new distributors now, and we were having this weird problem with Penguin Random House, PRH as we call them,
We do.
or PRA.
Nope.
No one's ever said that before.
No.
Ever.
Nope.
And will again.
Wouldn't make any sense.
That we would place an order and it would come back with every single item being out of stock. Mm-hmm. But that's just a way that they process things.
Yeah, because we're prepay. We pay for items as we order them, not a month or a month and a half later. There's just something in their system where it won't say that what you're paying for them, because in essence even if you pay with a credit card on their site, you technically haven't paid yet because they haven't run the charge yet.
Yeah.
Which is weird to me. So that if you had a credit account, if you had credit with them, as soon as you order something, you've essentially paid for it. So they'll tell you what that amount is. But with a credit card, they have to run it, and that could be a little while. And then you technically haven't paid for it yet, so everything is back ordered because you haven't paid for it yet. It's a very confusing set of circumstances, and even when they've explained it, it's like that seems the opposite of what you're actually doing. Like, I'm physically giving you money, but you're saying I haven't given you money yet, versus I won't give you money for a month and a half, but you're saying I have given you money now. Like, it feels so arbitrary and backwards to me, but it's like, well, that's just how they do it. Okay, great.
Well, also how they do it is because different warehouses house different things.
Yeah.
So we can place, like last week I placed an order that was, the majority of it was Little Golden Books, and then another section of it was Wizards of the Coast, Dungeons and Dragons restock. Mm-hmm. And those are in different places.
Yep.
So when you place your order, you get a total saying, this is how much it'll cost. But they charge it in increments based off of each warehouse.
Yeah, like as it's processed,
Yeah.
then they charge it.
And they put holds with everything. They run a $1 charge every single time to make sure your card is active before they do anything. So we have a whole bunch of dollar holds at any given point, regardless of if it came from one order or not, because it's different warehouses. But also, it's a thing that drives me crazy as the bookkeeper for Challengers. But I felt a little bit better having another retailer complain about it.
Yeah.
Whereas the total that they give you at the end of your transaction almost never matches the piecemeal totals that they give you once they start charging.
Right.
So they did, let's say you have a $500 order, and they put a $500 order, a hold, on your card.
Mm-hmm.
Then you'll go back and piece together the 3 or 4 different orders that they've done,
mm-hmm.
and it'll be like $386. It's like, what?
Yep, that's not right.
So eventually that $114 will drop off
mm-hmm.
after like a week or so.
Right.
But A, it's putting that money in limbo.
Right.
B, it just, as somebody who notates what we're spending as we spend it, then when it isn't that, it's like, why is it not?
Why is there a
I don't know.
Yeah.
And even today, this isn't Penguin Random House, but we got the Poster Emporium order in,
mm-hmm.
which, by the way, 2 boxes.
Okay.
When I ordered
should have just been 1.
60 posters, because that is what 1 carton holds.
Mm-hmm.
So these were 2 half-size cartons. Shipping was still the same. Fine. 56 posters. So they must have been out of 1 or 2 designs that I ordered.
Sure.
But it doesn't say, the list is just what they picked.
Right.
Like, I don't remember the other 2.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, they just didn't have it at the time.
Okay.
What have you. But also, aside from the weirdness of that, we can't restock Viz books. It seems impossible to get everything at once at any point.
Yeah, we've tried multiple distributors, and basically everyone's out and has sort of been out since December. Yeah, it's kind of insane. I don't know exactly where Viz is printing their books, where this is taking so long. Obviously, like a lot of book publishers, I think they probably print overseas, and that's got its own special quirks, and certainly in the midst of a pandemic, that's even more difficult to deal with. But yeah, I mean, the fact is, like, there's hot series like Jujutsu Kaisen. We literally cannot get a single volume from any distributor. Nobody has anything.
Now, I had to disappoint local comics professional Caroline Cash today because we did not have the copy of Chainsaw Man they wanted.
Yeah. And Chainsaw Man's another one, and multiple volumes of My Hero Academia. And
Spy X Family, we're still looking for a number 3 for someone.
All of Death Note, like main
Tokyo
things.
Ghoul.
We've had people who want the first 3 volumes of Tokyo Ghoul, and it's like, I don't know when they're coming in. And that's the problem. Like, all of this stuff is like, I can literally go to Ingram and tell you that they have 3,800 copies of a book on order. Don't know when it's coming in. Like, essentially when Viz can print and ship 3,800 copies of it to them.
Yeah.
No one knows when that is.
Yep.
And this is... The frustrating thing is that it's April. We're halfway through April, and like this has been ongoing since the end of 2020. And it's not gotten any better. And it's not like these books came in and then went out again. They've just been out this whole time. So yeah, I have no idea when Viz is going to get their act together and when they're going to get stuff back in the pipeline. And even when they do, I don't know how long it's going to last, because now there's months of pent-up demand of people who've been waiting to get their hands on these books, and they're probably not going to feel like waiting much longer.
I think that everybody's in the same boat that we were in at the start of the pandemic, where we anticipated sales going down, where it's the opposite. More and more people are reading.
Sure.
And a point where that has really surfaced is comic supplies.
Yeah.
Right now, there is a national current bag shortage. We can't get current bags. Nobody has them.
Yeah.
We can get boards.
Yeah.
But it's a case
God,
where, A, shipping is a lot harder because these things are coming from far overseas.
Right.
Production is harder because of the pandemic. Like, we've talked about this with other forms of comics industry workings, machinations. Warehouse staff is still reduced because of the pandemic. And the petroleum supplies to print the bags, that's a concern as well.
Yeah.
So right now, Ultra Pro just doesn't have bags.
Yeah.
So all the people they source to doesn't have bags.
Yeah. And that's sort of it. Like, there's really nothing you can do. It's just like, they don't have them. Okay.
Yeah, and I don't know that we'll be getting them anytime soon.
Yeah.
Like, I'm willing to place, like, as soon as Southern Hobby gets them, I'm willing to buy a ridiculous quantity.
Sure.
And put them somewhere just to have them for a while.
Yeah.
But our supplies, we've talked about this before, our supply ordering is vastly different now because they don't deliver.
Right.
So we are in a situation where we're having to try to hold more supplies than we have room for.
We're stockpiling a lot more than we used to.
Yeah, and I made some changes slowly during the week. I did some stuff on Wednesday that I don't think you noticed in preparation for what I did today. And it takes up a little bit of the floor space the overflow boards were going to.
Okay.
So that's like, if we do have to get, dozens of cases of a bag or a board size in, now where do they go?
I mean, I have an idea, but I don't know if you're going to like it.
In between the bookshelves.
In between the bookshelves.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
I mean, basically, it's it. Like, stuff that you don't need to get at that often.
Yeah.
Like, if we need to once a month, move a manga bookshelf, that's doable.
Yeah, you know what? I'm,
Because you can fit cases in there easy.
Yeah.
Just stack them up. Cases and
there's
empty boxes and whatever.
I would love to put those furniture movers under one of those regularly.
I don't think that would be what I would do, though. Because that would then put them at a different height than everything else.
And also a different distance because they're discs.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be flush against it.
And more than anything, those get handled enough that I don't want to do anything that would make them unstable.
Somebody leans and slides.
Basically,
we gotta get people to stop leaning on our shelves.
Yeah, for sure.
We had someone break one of our blue shelves by pressing up, lifting it off. A larger person.
I found one of the second shelf in the bottom, or like the bottom movable shelf of one of the manga bookshelves had been put back crooked because someone had knocked it off its tracks.
I noticed one of those too.
Yeah, and I had to fix it. And
so did I.
And I realized, when they tried to put the little shelves that it goes on, the little lips,
yeah,
they put them back at the wrong heights.
Yep.
So I had to rearrange it.
So weird.
Yeah.
And I had an adult just I'm posing so you can't see, but just arm out on the shelf, leaning in. It's don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
It cannot maintain.
It's already got
its integrity.
A
with
lot
an
of weight of books
adult
on it.
Body on it.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Did you do that at home? Come on. Standard adult response. Did you do that at home? Mm-hmm. Do you want to talk about the new website?
Oh, not really. I mean, that's something that's a possibility if other things line up.
Oh,
more than it is.
I thought it was.
I mean, it's something that we may do, but it's nothing we have to do right now.
Okay.
So I'm kind of putting it off a little bit.
Okay, I gave you
I saw.
Because we forgot it. I thought we forgot it last week.
No,
I saved it for this final block of the podcast.
Sorry. Yeah, I mean, what Patrick's talking about is we've had some issues with the back end of our website, and it's maybe necessitated us. We had a fix for it, but that fix is not long term, and so it might mean a thing of the Shopify storefront becoming more of the actual website, but that isn't necessary right this second. And if we do it, other things we'd want to have happen first to make it more valuable. So it's a thing that it'll probably happen at some point this year, but I'm not working on it.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't need to happen yet.
That was actually more detail than I thought you'd give for a thing that we're not necessarily doing.
No, there you go. Well, I mean, if people are wondering, a new website, no, it's mostly just essentially
a change website.
Yeah, it's instead of having the Shopify website, which is our storefront, and then the challengerscomics.com, essentially making the Shopify storefront challengerscomics.com, and then posting additional content to there that we normally wouldn't, like the new release list, like the podcast, event information, whatever. That's all doable.
We don't do comic news because you can get that elsewhere.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
So many people get the new release lists elsewhere.
Yeah.
And I wish they would just, if you're buying your new comics from us, using our release list shows you exactly what we're getting. Mm-hmm. Now, sure, the other places may show you a thing that we aren't getting, and if you ask, we can get it. But I think it's just easier if you want to see what we are getting in stock, what's available. And yeah, I don't think there's enough traffic to specific elements of our website for us to really care about some portions not migrating over.
Yeah, I think we'll definitely have once I'm really actively doing it, then there's going to be a little bit more of a discussion about what can we lose? What don't we care about that much? And we do that every time we do a revision to the website. Every time we just change, the aesthetic of it, there's a discussion of what are we trying to surface here? What needs to be on the front page? What is the stuff that we most want to draw attention to, or what are people most looking for that we want to make it easy for them to access? And that's part of the reason why we would consider making the Shopify storefront our homepage, because that is, now that we're offering product for sale, that is something that we want to make a lot more available to people. The top thing on our website is shop online, because we know that there's a lot of people who are, shopping from home or trying to purchase stuff before they come to the store, or live far away and want to shop with us, and creating a link to that right off the bat to make that easy for them to find, since it's an additional step. Like, it would be nice to not have to have that additional step, where literally you go to challengerscomics.com and it's just there. When you go into the search field, you can type in the book you're looking for and it'll tell you if we have it. So that has a lot of value to it, above and beyond. There are things going on in the back end of challengerscomics.com that could make it less pretty and more unstable in the near future.
There are people who legitimately have their new shopping routine of buying something from the site, choosing local pickup, walking in, grabbing it, walking out, but just browsing the store online.
Sure.
Which is definitely a way to do it.
Yeah,
we're seeing regulars, like people that are just website regulars.
It's true. Yeah, it's interesting. We'll eventually, there's a separate conversation you and I will have to have, Patrick, about what items we want to have on the website, assuming nothing else changes. If things change, then we'll have a lot more stuff on the website. But if things don't change, there's things where it's like, I don't know if I want to have all of the stuff that we have in backstock listed for comics on Shopify anymore.
Yeah.
We are storing a lot more stuff that comes off the shelves because it sat there for a year or whatever. And that's not the stuff that sells. The stuff that sells is like, every Saturday or Sunday, here's a bunch of people who want whatever hot book that we still have at cover price. There you go. Yep. That's what sells.
Yep.
And then they'll keep wanting those for the next couple weeks until we sell a lot of them. But yeah, it's not people who are randomly saying like, I definitely am looking for 2099 one shots from late 2019. Like, that, no one cares. There's no interest in that. Occasionally we'll get someone recently had ordered a random Harley Quinn Poison Ivy variant cover that we still had.
Yeah.
That had and they paid cover price for it. And it's like, when you see stuff like that happen, it's like, oh, that's valuable. And sometimes, like, I remember us having like 10 copies of Undone by Blood because no one wanted to buy it. And so they just went in the back stock in the back room. And then it got optioned as a movie by Norman Reedus. And we sold out of all 10 copies in like 3 days.
Yep.
So, like, again, that's valuable. But, like having any back issue selection. What are we talking about here? A dozen books? And you're storing a dozen boxes to sell those dozen books? Like, that doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
So, yeah, that may be a thing where, what's on the website is what's on the shelves, what's on our bookshelves, and then everything else just becomes back issues once they stop selling. That we just have a year's worth of stuff, basically, for comics listed on our website. Brand new stuff, and that's it. That may be a thing. Because it's just, we can't keep growing that stuff in the back room. We only have so much space. And, once you start filtering stuff like that out to go into the back issues, it's like, why are we doing the extra step?
Yeah. And it is an extra lot of work for the occasional $4 comic sale.
Right. Yeah. Not great.
A few episodes ago, we talked about what we wanted to potentially do for the informational parts of our windows. The small strips above.
Mm-hmm.
And I had suggested we put things like, the address boulder, the phone number boulder. This is a thing that I got from Rich Johnson's tour.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if the sizing will work, but what about the Will Eisner Spirit of Comics logo for one of them? And just, that logo that says Spirit of Comics Award recipient.
Yeah, like the things that I would put up there, since we have a whole bunch of those to go with.
Yeah. We have 12.
Like you want to do, here's the website, here's the phone number. Yeah, that would be sort of just above the front door,
The way it is now, still, that's good enough for you?
Yeah, like that's 1845 Northwestern, boom, there you go. And Suite 2R maybe, just to make it easier on the occasional delivery person who gets confused.
Sure.
And then, to the right of that phone number, to the right of that website. But then the other stuff that I'd want to do is Spirit of Comics Retailer Award. I'd want to take some of our better online reviews and pull a quote from that.
Okay.
My favorite shop in Chicago. Like in the same way that we had on the front counter.
Yeah.
That Google Ads thing. Like that. So from Google or from Yelp, we just put those up there.
The one thing that stands out, which I think may be trickier aesthetically, is the type may be different sizes for each window.
Well, we'll see what we can do.
Okay.
We'll obviously play around with flow to make it what does this look like if we do 12 of these in a row? How does it play?
And I think they're big enough that we could do 2 lines easy over a...
Yeah, I think it would be more just, what we can fit on one big line.
Yeah.
And then a little thing underneath that where it's like a person's name or something.
Okay.
Dal B, like that sort of thing.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, stuff like that. We can come up with other things that we've liked over the years where it's like, we want to show that off.
I don't know that it would be worth, putting, best new comic shop, Chicago Reader.
No, I wouldn't do, awards that we won a while ago for, best new store, best gallery, or even, the best in Chicago award from, 8 years ago. I don't want to... That's not something I feel like represents us as a store. Is an award we haven't won in 8 years and will never win again.
The Spirit of Comics Award is
that's important. That's
so
an international award
prestigious.
that you can only win one time. Absolutely, I'd like that to be on the outside of the store. Yeah, and then maybe we do other stuff where it's
established.
Well, it's
March 31st, 2008.
Or thousands of comics and graphic novels, different kinds of products that we carry, that sort of stuff. So yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of things that we could put in those windows. But yeah, I mean, certainly the Eisner Award, yes, absolutely.
The only problem is that window is probably, less than a foot high, and it's a big oval, so it'd be tiny.
Well, I think you'd maybe do the logo, and then you would do
Will Eisner Spirit of Retail Award recipient.
Yeah,
recipient.
I think we'd put winner just to make it.
I would put recipient because
would you really?
Yeah, because you don't win it, you receive it. That is a big part of the verbiage for.
Okay. To me, we're not trying to be legally binding. We're just trying to
sure
say it to the public, and you'd say winner because winner sounds better than recipient.
But we also wouldn't put the year on it.
No, you don't need to.
Right.
You only win it one time. It doesn't matter what year you won it.
Right. It's good forever.
You can't win it again.
Good forever.
And you just want it to be quick and easy to read.
Yeah. And we'll probably have to answer more questions about it, but that's great.
Yeah, for sure. If people come in and go, what is that award? It's like, oh, here's this thing we won. You can only win it one time. It means you're the best comic shop in the world for the year that they chose you.
Comic shops, and you can only win it once.
Yeah. So yeah, I definitely agree with you that should be what would go on the informational tier of the windows.
Yeah, that's what I took away from Rich's tour.
Yeah.
I think it was Gosh had it. I'm like, I want to do that.
Yeah. Because I want to do more than just a standard, one panel says comics, and one panel says graphic novels, and one panel says toys, and it's I do want to have that information up there, but that's not all I want to have up there.
Well, here's what I feel like we can do. We can design that now and get, I literally just forgot their name, Cushing, to come out and measure and price that out.
Okay.
We'll say, hey, we'll have you guys do those. While you're here, measure the tops. Give us we're giving you the business for these for sure.
For sure.
What would you charge for the tops?
Yeah. What are some options?
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't want to have them price out the bottom part as well? Give us some options on that?
Oh, for sure. But I mean, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, just have them price out everything.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure. As long as they're there.
But I want it to be hey, you're getting this part of the work guaranteed.
Yes. And we want to price out the rest of it. But yeah. No, I think that's good.
And I don't know if it's worth it for us to literally do the graphic design for the small parts of the windows, or just be here's what we wanted to say.
Oh,
do it in house.
No, I think we should take a run at it.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like if we have them do it, it's going to be too long going. No, that's not how we do it.
Yeah,
or
that's
no,
fine.
Whatever. We've done this enough times that I'm okay.
This is the thing that I think that we can start doing now.
Okay, if you want, sure.
Yeah, not right now because right now we're done. Thanks for listening.
Keep reading comics.
This has been Contest of Challengers. Thanks for listening. Keep reading comics. Challengers is located at 1845 Northwestern Avenue in the Bucktown neighborhood of Chicago. 773-278-0155. Keep up to date with new releases and events at challengerscomics.com. Like Challengers Comics on Facebook, follow @Challengers on Twitter, and help fund this podcast at patreon.com/challengers.